Hello, 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 and thank you, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dear Recruiter Help. I'm your host and resident recruiting expert, Steve Rosen, and today's topic is a pretty good one. It's centered around the COVID-19 crisis that we're all going through, and a business owner from a tech firm writes in wanting to know whether they should hire or not. So I'm going to answer that question. First, before I jump into that, just a couple things for those of you that may not have listened to the show before. First, I keep the identity and privacy confidential for the viewers and the people writing in. And also, I keep these segments to 10 minutes or less. Just they're quick hitters to get some quick answers to problems and questions that are going on. So that's the format of the show. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. And let me see what this question says. So this is John S. out of Boston, Massachusetts, and John writes, "Dear Recruiter, help. I own a software company that I started up with a partner a few years ago, and we've been doing quite well. We're in the telecommunications and different applications around money apps that businesses use, that customers use, not only here in the States, but internationally. Before this COVID crisis, we were doing quite well. In fact, we were getting ready to hire 4 more software engineers. And then all this happened, and now we're just not sure what to do. Uh, we want to hire, but we're afraid with what's going on and how long it's going to go on. This could hurt us financially. But we don't want to lose out on great talent. So, dear recruiter, what do you think we should do? Well, John, first of all, thanks for writing into the show. It's a great question, and I'm sure it's a question that probably at least 10 people or more have the same question and appreciate you asking it. So, first of all, yes, this is a crisis. This is unprecedented, something that has not happened to us in a century. Probably, I'm going to say 95% of the people alive here today hasn't gone through anything like this. The only thing I will say is that the good news is that we are not going through what's a normal recession like what we saw in 2008. Our economy was going great. In fact, unemployment, I don't know the exact number, but it was below 3% US. All our stocks were at record high. We were booming economically when this just unprecedented big wall just hit us and stopped us in our tracks. So, to answer your question, whether you should be looking to hire, uh, the short answer is yes, and I'll get into why I'm recommending that you don't halt out on things. So, first of all, now if you're a business owner and you're owning a company that was struggling and you're going paycheck to paycheck, um, then yes, you then no, you don't want to hire um, because you don't know when you're going to see the next next billings from your customers to pay your employees. However, if you were in a thriving technology company uh, that was doing quite well, you were about to hire people because you just didn't have enough human resource capital to um, fulfill all the demand you were getting from your customers. This is a great time to be investing, and I'll tell you why. Because here's the thing: at some point, this is going to this is going to end. Of course, we don't know how long, but if if you're in a business that's thriving, this is the best time to go out and try to find talent. There's a lot of talent out there, and not only are they out there, but they're they're available to talk to. Usually, talent, the way things were going pre all of this crisis, people were hard to recruit. People were hard to get on a phone. Now you can actually get on a phone and have meaningful conversations because people are working from home. So that's first of all. So you can get in, get to know your candidates better. You get to brand your customer, your company better, and you can have some meaningful conversations. Second, you need to look at it as an investment. Um, if you've got some good reserves, now's a good time to make the investment because when the gates do open up, I I think the economy's gonna boom again, and then the talent's gonna be tough, and then what's gonna happen if you've made this investment? You're gonna be able to jump in and take those excess customer projects as opposed to, you know what, I got to find the talent first before I could take the project because I don't know if I could fulfill the project. So again, it's a big investment. My recommendation is don't stop doing what you're doing if you can afford to do it. The other thing that I see happen in this type of a situation, what's even worse on whether to hire or not hire, is companies start to panic, and and when they panic, they look to cut costs, and the biggest cost that they come up with is cutting their employees. And I'm here to say that's probably the worst thing you can do. It should be the last thing that you do unless absolutely necessary. Here's the thing, um, John, and not just for you, John, but for anybody. ROI, return on investment for those employees that you hired, will, will suffer dramatically long term. You took a lot of time and money and resources to find these people, and then even more time and money spent to train them, plus in benefit cost. If you were to cut them now, you would have to pay out severance packages, and then all of the knowledge that they have about your products, about your company, is gone. It's out there. And then what will happen is when this gate does open again, you're going to find out that you actually did need those people and you're going to be scrambling because you no longer have the resources to fulfill if this thing comes off like gangbusters. So I know hiring, so if you can hire, I, I would definitely look to keep that going. But here's the thing, even if you can't hire, you can still be recruiting. Now, recruiting and hiring are very different components. Hiring is you're spending money to bring a candidate on board, you're spending money on training, benefits, all that stuff. Enough said. Hiring is hiring. That's clear cut. But recruiting is going out there into the outside world and talking about your brand as a company, talking to people that you normally would hire to build those networking relationships, seeing what they're doing, seeing what their interest, letting people know in your niche of hiring profile that you're a thriving business, and once this all ends, you're going to look to be hiring and you'd like to network and connect. You're getting those relationships going. So at very most, maybe you don't hire now, but you definitely should go full force on recruiting. Now, I want to get back to I got diverged for a second. I diverged myself, but getting back to the keeping of your employees, um, that's the next step that a lot of companies look to do. And if you get one thing out of this podcast, it's do whatever you can to not let go of your employees, even if it means taking out a loan to keep your payroll going for a couple more months just so you can keep those people. It's well worth whatever interest rate you would pay on a loan than what you would pay once this is over and you need to hire these people back. So, so John, I hope I helped you out. Um, Again, I would definitely have conversations with those engineers. Maybe you don't pull the trigger on all the positions, maybe just one or two, or maybe none, but I would definitely let people know what you've got going on in the pipeline. You're busy. there, there's a lot of great things about your company worth joining. You want to continue to have conversations so that once this is over, you're definitely going to be hiring. And that's going to be exciting to the outside world. And then the other thing, as far as a branding, just to one last point before I end the podcast, in not letting go of your current staff, um, one thing companies need to be cognizant is during a crisis like this, they're they're being judged by candidates who are looking in the future to come to your company to work. And how you treat your current employees is going to be out there in the open, especially with social media. So if you're a company that shows that you've done everything to keep your employees, even if you took out bank loans, just to let people know that this is how you treat employees, it's going to do a lot for your recruiting efforts in the future. Well, that's all I've got. Hey, John, hope this advice helps. And if you have more questions, don't hesitate to check me out on my website at careercompassgroup.com or email me at srosen@careercompassgroup.com. Until next time, folks, be safe, be healthy, and from a recruiting perspective, be recruiting. Take care.